Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play of Victoria 2, a game that I believe has become one of the best that Paradox has ever made. Of course, after it has gotten the 2 expansions and after you install some modifications. For me, the best modification is the Pop Demand mod with a mod called Concert of Europe, but I'm gonna get to that. Pop Demand mod is a grand mod that adds a lot of stuff. If you're interested in it, you can check the description. There's a link to the description. But suffice to say, it makes the AI better. It fixes some of the bugs, adds events, materials, factories, technologies, and so on. So we're going to use this mod to play Victoria 2 because it's going to be much more interesting that way. But as I mentioned, we're also going to use a submod which is called the Concert of Europe. What that does is it takes the Grand Campaign, which starts in 1836, and dials it back to 1821. So this is the 1836 map that you will now see, and this is the 1821. So you can see even in Europe there is a number of changes happening. But for us, it's going to be even more interesting because we are not going to play in Europe. I don't know if I put it in the description right now, but I'm going to walk you through how I picked the nation that I picked. I wanted to play after a long time not playing this game, so I decided to check Let's Plays. There's a number of them on YouTube, most of them dealing with the vanilla game with DLCs, but there are some with this mod too. I haven't seen any with the Concert of Europe, but that's just an addition. So I wanted a challenge. I knew I don't want the major game-changing states like United Kingdom or France or Ottomans. I wanted to play Morocco, but that one is really dependent on luck, so maybe some other time, but really Morocco is a race against time. You are either off to a good start or a bad start. Then my eyes fell on Madagascar, but I kind of decided that that's a bit too remote. There's nothing happening. It would be good just to sit there and see what's happening. I also wanted Persia, but Persia is, quite a big mighty nation, and I decided against that. So I digged into history and I decided to play Siam. Siam is one of the most interesting nations in Asia in this time, at least to my opinion, because it's the only one that managed to remain independent in the area. Of course, with the exception of China, but China is a whole different level. It was never fully conquered by any of the European states, though it has been heavily influenced and had to do some pretty severe concessions. So we'll see if we'll be able to change that. One thing that I would mention, if you haven't seen it, there's a great movie called Anna and the King, and even though it has a bit of a chick flick setting, it takes place in Siam during the reign of King Mongkut, who reigned since 1851, so we'll be getting hopefully to that time pretty soon. And it shows the way how the British and Siam interacted in kind of a good way, so I would suggest watching that if you haven't seen it. Anyway, let's look at Siam. Siam is an uncivilized nation. It's an absolute monarchy. It has 1.10 million of male population, so it's about 1/3 smaller than Dainam, and about the same size as Burma. By the way, these two nations will probably be our biggest threat in the starting time. Compared to Europe, Siam is a very small nation. France is about 7 times the population. Great Britain has about 28 times the population. Austria-Hungary is about 8 times the population. Ottomans about 5 times. So we're gonna be behind. Russia has 3.26. I wonder Bavaria? Yeah, we're about the population equal of Bavaria, which is slightly smaller. My god, even the Dutch are bigger. Denmark, nah. 2 Sicilies are bigger. Anyway. So we're going to play Siam. Fair warning, by the way, even though we're playing on very hard, and I modded the game to make it much harder and much more interesting, I still know how to game Victoria 2 pretty easily. There are a number of techniques that you can use to win the game playing pretty much anyone. And I'm going to do my best to avoid this. So we're going to just do our thing. We're going to be historical Siam, just taking care of us, playing at our own speed, and then not aiming to conquer the world. I know there are some of you that would like me to power play through, but we're not. We're just going to see if we can survive as we are, being cool and taking it at our own pace. So my goal is not to conquer the entirety of Asia Pacific, or take the British India. We're just gonna we're gonna focus on doing our own thing. So you have been warned. So in case you tell me that I should have done this and this, I probably know about that, but I avoid doing the gamey things to win. Okay, so you have been warned, and now let's go and play. Now I took the liberty to, of course, check what Siam is like. I haven't played it, but I checked what situation we are in so that I can tell you. The situation is not entirely bad, but not great. Now, let's take it from the bottom. Our population, I don't know what's up with this, we'll have to see, but it seems like our middle class is pretty much screwed. We have some money in the bank, but generally, looking at the budget, we are in a bit of a pickle. I don't think we're going to be able to put our education up to top, which is a big problem. Why that is because we are an uncivilized nation. It means we can't research technologies. We can only enact reforms, which sort of work like technologies of a sort, but you need a certain amount of research points to enact this. So for example, if we would like to do a medicine reform, moving from herbalism, which lowers our population growth by quite a lot, to imported medicines, which lower our population less, we would need, as you can see in the bottom, 8,664 research points. We are getting 1.2 per day. We need to enact a great number of these reforms to be able to westernize. So our research points are crucial. Just to compare this, for example, when I played Sweden, when I was trying to see if I still remember how to play the game, in about 10 years I got to 25 research points per day. We have 1.2. It is mostly dependent on the literacy of your nation, which in our case is 1.3 point. And at this setting, when we are investing about 50% of the possible budget into education, it's going to change by 0.0032% during the next month. We need to get this up as fast as possible because it directly affects our research points. We also need to get more bureaucrats, and we need to get a higher population. So that's going to be the first things I'm going to focus on. But saying that, our budget can't really do this stuff. Well, we'll have to be mindful of that. I'll see what we can do with it as we progress. So budget, not so great. Technology-wise, we have flintlock rifles, which gives our infantry a bit more attack, and we have the military staff system, which give us a bit of an organization. Navy, nothing. Commerce, we have the private banks, which is kind of surprising, which give us a bonus to administrative efficiency, which is the other thing I spoke about, which is here. The administration, it's extremely low. We have 7.9%, and we have only 0.1 bureaucrats, which are, as a funny add-on, the second biggest population booster to your research points. So, yeah. We were kind of screwed in that regard. So we'll have to hope that no one will deal with us in the meantime. But I was kind of surprised that we have some reforms enacted. We have the military drill, which gives us a bit of bonus to our army. And we have an interactive diplomacy, which doesn't give us anything, but it doesn't really give us, a penalty. We're getting diplomatic points, which is good. We also have tax goods, which give us a bit more tax efficiency. And we have a school system, which give us a bit more research points, I think. No, actually it doesn't give us anything, but universities would be good. They would give us a bonus to research points every day. So there are some reforms haven't been enacted. I'm gonna probably invest the first research points. Oh yeah, we're gonna give them into imported medicines because that helps the population growth a lot. I would also like to enact land reform and reformed education, which gives us research points. So either these three would be my top priority as a beginning. So, speaking about that, most of our population, as you can see, are farmers, which is a bit of a problem in its own. We have some laborers, we have some artisans, aristocrats, soldiers, we have slavery. I'm surprised. I thought slavery was banned. I haven't really checked that. Where is slavery? Oh, I don't think we can enact that. That's interesting. I thought slavery was banned. Okay, so we have slaves. I didn't know that. So we'll have to deal with that. It says a lot about us that we have more slaves than... Oh, wait, we don't. Okay, we have very few slaves. My bad. Well, we have about 1% clergymen, which are the people who spread the literacy among our people. And we have some bureaucrats, so we'll try to increase these people together with the officers because we would like to have a stronger military. Nationality-wise, we are mostly Thai. We have some Lao people, some Malay people, some Yua, some Khmer and Shan. Religion, we're mostly Theravada, some Sunni and some Mahayana people. Ideology, most people are conservative and reactionary, which is kind of funny. These are our states, I would say. We have Ayutthaya, Isan, Siamese Shan, Patani, Siamese Northern Malaya, Siamese Cambodia, and Siamese Laos. So, yeah, these are very scarcely populated. The only one that's really good is Ayutthaya, which is our capital, where Bangkok is. Okay, let's look at production. I kind of skipped through that. We have, of course, no factories because we're not an industrialized nation, but we have kind of interesting production. Mostly, I kind of like the fact that we have a lot of opium, we have a lot of grain, we're producing some sugar, and some spices. Those are kinda good, so I'm happy about that. We also produce some lumber, we have some iron, and some tropical wood. The canned goods and clothes are produced by capitalists, so that's not a natural thing, but we have some fish, so that's kinda good. Production-wise, we're pretty good, I would say. Good start. If we can make it all the way to westernization, we can work on some pretty nice factories. Trade, our main export goods are of course grain, lumber and tropical wood, and we are importing horses, and I have no idea why, but I don't have to deal with that. The game will take care of that on its own. And we have one army, which is 27,000 people. We have, 9 regiments? All infantry. No cavalry. And we are actually above our possible limits. So these soldiers from Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and 2 from Chiang Mai and 1 from Bangkok will not get any resupply. So yeah, that's the introduction to who we are. I am kind of content with who we are, to be honest, and next time we are going to start the game and actually do stuff, because now we know what we are and we'll be able to progress. So see you in the next episode.